Hey y'all, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back to spend this time with me. If this is your first time, thank you so much for stopping by and seeing what this is all about. Hopefully you decide to subscribe and join this family. So normally lately we have been reading through Proverbs and discussing it. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm not stopping our reading and discussions. I just want to do something a little bit different today. I was reading my devotional today during my Bible study time, and as I was going to today's devotional, I caught another devotional, and it was Numbers, and it just caught my eye for some reason, and it was Numbers 22. And my mind automatically went to, oh, this is where this guy comes in, and he's supposed to be cursing the Israelites. Like I said, I read my Bible, and then I read it again to meditate on it and study it and to have understanding. But at this point, I'd only read it. So I was like, okay, so this is where this guy comes in and is going to curse these people. So I go to this devotional and I look at it, and then I didn't read the devotional, I just looked at the scripture. Then I go to my Bible and I go to that scripture, and I was like, well, this isn't the one I was thinking about. Well, what I was thinking about was Numbers 23. But in Numbers 22, it's where Balak wants Balaam to curse the people before they come on to the Moab land and take it over, because there's so many of them. So he sends elders to Balaam because he knows that the God he serves will bless and he will curse. So he wants Balaam to come here and curse these people so that they don't start war, take their land. So he sends elders. The elders go and request Balaam to come back to curse the people. God questions Balaam, and he's like, what are these people here for, these men here for? Balaam explains what's going on. Balak has sent these people so that I will come back and curse the Israelites. God tells him, you can't do that. He says they are blessed. Oh, here we go. In verse 12, and God said to Balaam, you shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. So then Balaam has to explain to these people, or I guess he really doesn't have to explain. He just has to tell them, I can't go. So the elders go back and tell Balak, hey, he's not coming. Now, he's already sent a fee for these elders to give to Balaam when they got there. They have to go back with that fee. Well, I'm sure Balak wasn't happy about that, so he sends more people, and this time he sends people with like a higher authority, so he sends princes. They're more important, so I guess he figures it's a prince, he'll have to listen to him. These princes show up and they have whatever fee they're going to give him. I believe they brought more than they did the last time. It says, please let nothing hinder you from coming to me, for I will certainly honor you greatly, and I will do whatever you say to me. Therefore, please come, curse these people for me. And he already knows that God has told him, you cannot go. You cannot curse these people. They are blessed. And so Balaam says, I don't know why I keep pronouncing that like that. Balaam says, though Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. So he's acknowledging that it is all from God. He cannot do less. He can't do more. He can't really do much. It's all from God. And he is not going to go against God. And then he asks them to stay the night. Probably rest, eat, all that stuff. And God comes to Balaam at night and says, if the men come to call you, rise and go with them, but only the word which I speak to you, that you shall do. Balaam rose in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the prince of Moab. Then God's anger was aroused because he went, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the way as an adversary against him. Now the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand, and the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. So here there was 3 different instances where this donkey is trying to get away because he's scared. And then Balaam hits the donkey 3 times. And the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand, and he bowed his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come out to stand against you, because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, surely I would also have killed you by now and let her live." So as I was reading this, I was really confused for like a good 20 minutes. I read over this like 3 or 4 times, trying to understand what happened between verse 20 and 22 that would cause God to become angry. Because in verse 20 he says, "If they call to you, rise and go with them." And then in 22, he's angry because he went with them. So I was thinking, what happened? And I read it and I read it and I read it. And then I got my King James Bible, and it's a study Bible. So I got that and I read it there. And then I read the little study notes. And I didn't understand it. I also have an NIV Bible. And I was like, what happened? And so finally I had to go online and go to, I believe it was the Matthew Henry commentary. And I was reading that. And I was still a little bit confused on what happened. And then there was another one that I came to and finally broke it down for me. And from what I understood from that is that, yes, God told him, if the men come to call you, rise and go with them. And after reading that, and then I read this again, I noticed that it says, "So Balaam rose in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the princes of Moab." But before he saddled his donkey, nobody called to him. That morning, nobody called to him and asked him to come. So they had already spoken to him the night before, and he had told them that he wouldn't be able to do it. So then God says, okay, in the morning, if they call for you again to come back with them, you can go. But they never called for him to go. He just got up, saddled the donkey, and went. From my understanding of reading this, it was for his own desire to have those materialistic things that he was going to receive from Balak when he went back with these princes to Moab. So God allowed him to go. He gave him the desires he wanted to be able to go. But it angered God that he had chose to do that when God had already told him no, because Balaam just assumed, because God said, if they call for you to go, that meant, okay, well, in the morning when I get up, I'm going to go. Because that's what I thought, and that's why I was so confused about that. And then the fact that the donkey saved his life 3 times. And rather than try to figure out what's going on with that, why is my donkey freaking out 3 different times, he's upset with the donkey and hits the donkey 3 different times. Then, towards the end, he says, okay, God, I know I've angered you, I messed up. If you want me to turn back, I will turn back. And God tells him, no, go with the men, but only the word that I speak to you, that you shall speak. And then Balak heard that Balaam was coming. He went out to meet him at the city of Moab, which is on the border of Arnon, the boundary of the territory. Then Balak said to Balaam, did I not earnestly send to you, calling for you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not able to honor you? So he's like, it's almost like he's annoyed. I sent these people the first time. Why didn't you come the first time? And so then Balaam says, okay, well, I'm here now. I have come. Here I am. But he says, now have I any power at all to say anything? The word that God puts in my mouth, that I must speak. So I'm here. You've asked me to come, and I'm here, but I can only speak what God puts in my mouth to speak, and that's it. So as I was reading this, I was thinking, how many times have I been in a situation where God has tried to prevent me from getting in, being involved in, but to me, it was just, I wasn't thinking about God trying to protect me from something or God having something better for me outside of that situation. I was thinking of, well, everybody else is going to be doing it and I don't want to be left out. And I was thinking about how many times has God tried to stop me from doing something that I really didn't need to be a part of because it wasn't going to be beneficial for me. It wasn't something that was good for me. It wasn't something that was going to bring me closer to Him. But I was determined that I wanted to be a part of that. And so then I was a part of that. He let me go and be a part of that. And then I regretted it. I was like, dang, I could have just stayed home or went and did this instead, because then, people started arguing or somebody got into a fight, or it just wasn't worth it. And you think I would have learned, but I'm human. I make mistakes. But I read this and I was thinking, when there's something that you want and what you want and desire is greater than your desire to be obedient to God, God is not going to fight you tooth and nail. He'll let you do whatever it is that you are so determined to do. And when you fall, He is right there to catch you. But reading this, I was amazed that I did not remember all of this. And as I was going through, I was like, hindsight 2020, you think about this and you're like, well, if Balaam would have just accepted the fact that God told him these are chosen people and just leave it alone, that wouldn't have happened to him. And then I think about my life and I'm like, well, if I would have just accepted the fact that I didn't need to be involved in their drama, that wouldn't have happened to me, or I wouldn't have been put in that situation. So reading this, I saw how God tries to prevent us from getting into certain situations. This is what I got out of it. But sometimes we are just so determined that we want what we want, and that's it. We don't want to be left out. And as I've gotten older, I am okay with being left out. I'm okay with being set apart and being different. But we're human. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way. Sometimes we're just hard-headed and want what we want. But that's what this reminded me of. How God tries to protect us from certain situations, but as people, humans, we don't want to be alone. We don't want to be left out of things, especially when you're younger. And no matter how many times God's, telling you, no, you don't need to, no, you don't need this. When it comes down to it, if it's something you really want and you're determined you're going to do it or get it, God's not going to fight you. He's not going to force you away. But just because you can have it, just because you want it, it's there, doesn't mean you need it, and it doesn't mean it's good for you. And He's trying to prevent you from getting hurt or getting into bad situations. But on this road of life, we will make bad decisions, stupid decisions, or choices. And we know that even when we make a mistake, just like with Balaam, even though God was angry at him for what he did, He didn't turn His back on him. He said, okay, go ahead. You angered me, but go ahead. I'm going to let you do this, and I'm going to use you. I'm going to work through you. So even in those situations, He can still work through us. That was just a random thing for me today, and I just wanted to share that He's not going to force us. He will encourage us to do what should be done, walking in obedience and in His will. But even if we do mess up, make a mistake, stumble, we don't stay in that position. We get up and we keep moving forward, keeping our eyes focused on Him. Well, I hope this time and this little devotional time has been encouraging to y'all. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And I will see y'all next time. Oh, and don't forget, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to this channel, become part of the family. And then that way you are notified every time a new video is released. And like and share so that this can be shared out for others to find also. I will see y'all guys next time. Bye.